the real deal New England feel.
I went off the rails. My wife told me I would be ashamed of myself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Corso and Gatone.
Well, welcome into Corso and Gatone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. There's Gatone. Joe's with us in the booth. We're going live, and already you screw it up. That's it.
Jeez, you had to do the mark.
Jesus Christ. This is why we don't go live.
This
Because
is the reason.
You know,
Yes, this among the 8,000th reason as to why. But we are live, and you are watching us on YouTube. And when you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, give us that thumbs up, like the show. That's what we're looking for. And make sure you give us a call and heated hotline if you want to hear from you. 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line 24/7. Leave us a message. Anything's on the table. We've got a lot to discuss, so make sure you're calling in. Or you can email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Joe's there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you are listening to us, though, you do it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast, you're going to catch us. I say this stuff in my sleep, guys.
we haven't.
I hope so.
We haven't been live in a while.
No,
Mr. Corso.
Well,
Well, folks can catch a few of these this season, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, we are going to do a couple of post games, right?
We are going to do a couple of post-game shows, so stay tuned for that as to when, which ones we're going to be doing and when. So stick around for that. And hey, we could, you'll see why it can't be live. You better watch your mouth today, Mark. I'm telling you. So, but we got a good one today in Yankees versus Red Sox. This is where Mark's going to have to watch his language.
I
in
may
this
have,
segment.
yeah.
So,
Joe, you can bleep me, right?
I
Joe
think we
bleep
can.
me.
I
Listen,
just don't know when it's coming.
Can we put the Diggs video up from the boat if we're live, Joe?
I swear to God, he's got that prompted him to put a friggin' TV on his ceiling, to put that stupid video that he's got. So, and we'll listen. Anyway, he's in rare form already. So stick around for Catone's comments. Let's see what he brings to the table. And of course, in Weekly Rewind, it's going to be Patriots talk. They have now closed camp as of today, yesterday, whatever. And we're going to be discussing the room, the different position groups, and lots of different things to discuss there. So make sure you stick around. But on a sad note, one of our loyal listeners let us know, and we knew this as well. Not sports related, but sometimes things reach out to all walks and all places. And Judge Frank Caprio has passed away at 88 years old, and many of you know him from Court in Providence, the traffic court that he made real popular across the whole country, and people love him for it. I had the pleasure of knowing him. He was a close friend of the family, his family, and I know Mark, you as well, and Joe, of course, and our family. But one of our loyal listeners said, "Hey, give Judge a mention," and also provided us some footage from Inside, courtesy of Inside Edition, that Joe wants to play.
He became famous as the nicest judge in America.
I think you've been punished enough. Thank you, Your Honor.
For nearly 40 years, Judge Frank Caprio ran his courtroom in Providence, Rhode Island with a soft touch,
I don't have the heart to charge him. I just don't.
cutting folks a break when he thought they deserved it.
Taking all those factors into consideration, the matter will be dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
His good-natured antics made him a viral hit on YouTube.
How about $35 court cost?
Yes!
How about 5 days in jail?
Yes!
Popularity led to his own syndicated TV show, Caught in Providence, where he continued to hand out justice his way with kindness and compassion.
I take him for blood work every 2 weeks because he's got cancer.
How old is your son?
63.
Yeah. And Daddy's still taking care of him, right?
I only drive when I have to.
Yeah.
You go through this every day?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was, we could play that footage forever. It was a great thing that he did, that they did, that Caught in Providence, and he was a compassionate person, a compassionate man. I've had the pleasure of talking throughout my life, and I, of course, am an attorney and a traffic and criminal attorney, and so we've had some conversations about that throughout the years, and he will be missed for sure. Many. All around, Mark, right?
Yeah, he was a legend, especially in this part. I mean, across the country, that show was popular, but in this area, obviously, he was a legend, and his family is well known, and he's going to be greatly missed, and our prayers and thoughts are with him and his family, of course. And he was a very religious man, and used his faith to get through his battles with his illness over the last couple of years. So I happened out to him.
So, and Joe, thank you for putting that together, courtesy of Inside Edition as well. So, Judge Frank Caprio is gone at 88 years old. We will miss him.
Quick fun fact, though, your cousin, my brother, is actually on a viral meme.
He's on
in Providence, and he's got the perfect look. I couldn't find it, but if I can find it, because I got to go through a zillion of those memes with caught in Providence. He's got the perfect face, just sitting in court with his eyes rolling.
Yeah, there it is. So, and I'll tell you though, one thing that Judge Caprio would not be pleased with, I will say, is the Yankees.
Oh,
right
he
now.
was a diehard Yankee fan. Forget it.
And what has been going on with the Yankees and the Red Sox in the last. And so we want to discuss it, gentlemen. We'll kind of do it in Yankees versus Red Sox. Joe? There we go. There's Godzilla. Okay, Mark. So it's Saturday. We are live. They're in the middle. They're playing now, yeah?
We're losing again.
The Yankees are losing, what, 2-0? So they've already dropped
the mound
first
for the Red Sox.
Yeah. Well, they dropped the first two. And we got to talk about this.
Chris, the Red Sox
are they more flawed than the Sox right now, the Yankees?
Yeah, they are. Chris, the Red Sox are 7-1 against us this year. 7-1. Do you know what the old man? He must be out of his mind.
Spinning around.
Yeah, spinning around up there.
Like on a spit.
Yep.
I mean, it's on way to begin, because both teams, Mark,
are flawed.
Are flawed. Both teams fundamentally are flawed.
And it's a testament of how bad the American League is, Chris, that both these teams are actually fighting, probably going to make wild cards, as flawed as they are, because the American League is a terrible league this year. It's terrible.
Would you say that these are the two? You watch a lot more baseball than I do, but these got to be the two dumbest teams in baseball.
Yeah, they are. And Chris, when you have a team that is
like play, I don't mean like
dumb.
individually.
No,
I mean just stupid baseball.
Dumb. They play stupid baseball. Listen, I don't know if anybody was watching the game Thursday night. That kid Campbell that got picked off third base for the Red Sox. That was a little league play.
Hamilton, wasn't it?
The pitcher steps off the back of the mound. Hamilton. I'm sorry, I said Campbell. Yeah. Hamilton. The pitcher steps off the back of the mound, and is like pretending like he's not paying attention and playing with the ball. The guy's talking to the coach. He's walking off the bag, and he throws the ball to third base and picks him off.
But what's worse about it? And we're covering both of them right now, Yankees and Red Sox. It's together. What's worse about that moment is the Red Sox, from a Red Sox perspective, you had the Yankees on the ropes. The Yankees, that was that all second inning, right?
Yeah,
you
had them on the ropes.
They had the Yankees had 3 errors in that inning. Friggin' what's his name? Threw the ball, Chisholm, threw the ball over the dugout, past the first baseman. Then the catcher threw the ball into center field.
It's awful.
And that's what got Hamilton over to third. And then that fool wants to step off and get picked off and bail the Yankees out. I mean, it's just more and more things like that. Last night, I'm screaming at the television. Mox he called me in mid-sentence, and I'm already yelling at the television. You got, what was it, second and third, maybe? I don't know. And Volpe wants to try to, oh no, they had a guy on second. That's what it was. And a ground ball is hit to him with no outs. And he wants to throw the ball to second base when Duran over there, thinking he's going to catch him in between. So you don't get anything.
You got nothing.
Now there's no outs with a guy on first and second. Instead of one out with the guy sitting, instead of looking him back and throwing over. And then on the next play, on the next batter, a ball's hit out to left field with a guy on first and second. A tag up. And what does Dominguez do? He throws the ball to third against Duran, who he's not going to get, instead of doing what, Mark?
He should have threw the ball to second.
To keep the double play in order.
Yeah.
So it would have been first and third with one out.
And you got the double play alive.
It's just stuff like this that you watch happen. And to say nothing about the fact that, didn't the Yankees balk the runner over the third too?
In
And one of those,
that game Thursday night.
because he stepped off 3 times.
The same guy, Hamilton, was on first base later in the game and should have got picked off first base. His hand gets stuck going back to the bag in the dirt.
Right.
All Goldschmidt had to do was snap the tag, and Goldschmidt's spinning his arm around like he's 65 years old, which he looks like that. And he he lets the guy slide back in. He was out. All he had to do was snap it down, and he was out.
But Mark, the worst for the Red Sox. The worst for the Red Sox was holding Eaton at third base in extra innings the other night.
Oh, that was before the Yankee series. That was
before the Yankee series.
Yeah, you blew.
Just another example against the Orioles. You're sitting there. You know, I mean, it wasn't a deep ball, but it was a mid-range ball out there.
Yeah.
But you got to send him.
You got to send him.
And what pisses you off is this: hearing this.
Or is that telling him?
We prepare before the series, and that's an impact arm, and we decided not to challenge him.
You know, staying with the play the whole time, watching the play develop, understanding, you know, the work that went into it, understanding that's an impact arm in center field, and you know, you see the play develop and you use your instincts and you make the decision, and that's the decision I made. Obviously, the throw was offline, and you know, we got to live with it, and I live with it, and you know, it is what it is at this point.
That's a bullshit.
It is,
Chris. You know what that is? That's more that garbage analytics. We make that.
Who talks like that?
You know, we prepared it before the series started. You prepared before the series started? No, you play in the moment. You play in the moment. It's extra innings. Maybe if it's the second inning, you ain't gonna challenge the arm in center field. But when the game's on the goddamn line in the 10th inning, you challenge the goddamn arm, Cora. You goddamn imbecile. You imbecile.
And that's
Cora.
Cora.
I know we're live.
That's fine. That was Cora and Hudson defending that stupidity. I don't care if it's a 40-something% chance of making it. You got to send them. You have to.
Yes, you do.
You got the fastest guy in your team standing there on third base.
That is what you've been talking about all year, Chris. They don't go with the flow or the feel of the game or how a guy is pitching. And we'll get into last night with Fried in a second when they pulled him and you went ballistic, right? But because all they do is they're looking at numbers, they're looking at stats, the number of guys the center fielder throws out. He's got a plus arm. You don't challenge him. Yeah, maybe you don't challenge him in the second inning. But in that particular game against the Orioles, you bet you're behind. You're gonna challenge him.
You're down. It's not like you're going for the win. You got to tie the game up.
Exactly.
You got to tie the game up. I mean,
that's garbage, Chris. That's a garbage answer, garbage. And he ought to be ashamed of himself.
And you know that it's analytics, and you know that it's the nerds, because what person on earth uses that kind of terminology? An impact was an impact arm. It's an impact arm. That's some nerd sitting in a friggin' office somewhere with a pencil sticking out of his friggin' ear, okay? Talking about impact arm. Who says impact arm? No, you say he's got a cannon. He's got a cannon. That's real talk. He's got a cannon to throw you out. Oh, he's got an impact arm, Mark. An impact arm.
And then how about last night, Chris? Fried. So Fried hits 99 pitches. He threw a
7-pitch inning. Yeah, go ahead.
Right? 7-pitch inning the inning before. He's got 99. Let him go to 110, 150. Maybe he throws another 7-pitch inning. They were huddled around him in the dugout because I don't think he wanted to come out. I think he probably said, I feel good. And they don't bring him back out. They bring out Mark Leiter Jr. What happens? He gives up the run, and they lose the game 1-0.
As soon as it happened, I said, as soon as I saw him talking to the coach in the dugout and you knew it was going to be done at that point, I said, oh, okay, here we go. I said, this guy's good. It's just the next pitcher that comes in here is going to give up a run. That's it. This is where they just lost the game.
And he did.
Let the guy throw 110 pitches.
Yeah.
See if he can get you through 7.
Absolutely.
Since you didn't have Weaver.
Yeah.
You weren't going to have him anyway that night. So,
No.
Mark, so
Listen,
moving
you
forward.
used your bullpen Thursday night. You used several arms in the bullpen.
Right.
So let Fried come back out. What the hell? I mean, you don't have the arms to come in again anyway. But no, of course, again, Chris, analytics. He hit the 99 mark. It tells you he's going to come out. You know, that's all they play, Chris. That's all they play.
So now moving forward, which, you know, because I'll tell you this right now, if New York's going to play Boston in Boston, New York's losing to Boston in the playoffs, and that will be the ultimate kick in the balls. There it will be there.
Absolutely. And then last night, Chris, Thursday night also, Chris, we're talking about both teams are fundamentally flawed. Red Sox got a guy on second, no outs. And they have Rafaela up. He can't get a bunt down to get him to third base. A professional baseball players can't bunt, Chris, anymore. It drives me crazy that these guys can't bunt as professional athletes.
Well, it pisses you off that he's trying to bunt for a hit.
Okay, he's trying to just put the bunt down. Yeah, he's trying to bunt for a hit because they don't know any better, Chris. They don't understand the concept.
He's running out of the box.
Yep, they don't understand the concept. So not only can he not get the bunt down, Chris, he ends up not even putting the ball in play, strikes out. Okay, fine. Next batter hits a fly ball to left field, would have scored the run if you got the guy over the third. Would have scored. Right. So now, instead of scoring a run, now there's 2 outs, guy's still on second, and then I think the next guy made an out for 3 outs. But the point was, Rafaela gets him over. The guy up after Rafaela did his job. He hits the fly ball. They would have scored the run. But so just fundamentally, Chris, they just don't do things that good teams are supposed to do, but yet they're in line to be a wild card.
It's unbelievable. So,
you know,
we'll see. But I tell you what, New York fans out there, if you got to play Boston, and I would say, forget if you got to go to Boston to play in the playoffs.
Oh, forget no matter what, you're losing to Boston.
It's all done. And at that point, I think Boone has got to get fired. At that point,
Boone has to go, and Chris Cashman's got to go. He's got to go. Cashman's got to go. I understand that the son Steinbrenner, Hal Jr. is putting. He puts restrictions on how much he wants him to spend. Like you can't spend anything you want. You should be spending like the Dodgers, but that's a argument for another day. But the roster, Chris, is flawed. It's flawed every year.
Right. So we'll see what happens. You know, and as far as Boston goes, you know, is it going to come back to bite them in the ass what they didn't do at the trade deadline? And the nonsense they give the public. I mean, Brezel, you know, for everything that's going on, he looks okay right now because some of these guys are producing, but they could have done a hell of a lot more.
Chris, I got a reliable source who said to me, "Do you understand that they tried to get guys? Nobody wants to deal with the Red Sox because they think that when Chaim Bloom was there, they just thought he was a complete idiot. They didn't think he knew anything, and they don't have much more respect for this guy. They don't even field the phone calls, Chris, because they're really not making a deal. They're just calling. Like there's.
Well, when you call 15 minutes before the deadline,
yes, the Red Sox front office, from what I've been told, has no respect around the league. No respect around the league. That front office, no respect.
Well, there it is. There it is. You heard it here. You know, and it's in it, and it shows up. It shows through by what's going on and the kind of roster, and you know. But again, even with all that, they're winning these games, and they're not going to beat Crochet today, and they're going to. They're not going to beat Crochet in the series too. So we'll see what happens. But pay attention. We're gonna have it for you all the way through. You can count on that. But Yankees versus Red Sox was presented by Corso Law Group, CorsoLawGroup.com. We come back. You ready to go? I mean, you look ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Catone's comments is next.
No one ever thinks they'll be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Whether it's a traffic ticket or more serious issue, go to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Time for Catone's comments.
Just for the record, before I get into Catone's comments, it's now 4-0 Red Sox. 4-0. So, Chris, please, I'm going to lose my mind. Listen. So, when we get into a little bit later in the show, we're going to get into the Patriots, and we're really going to get into it tomorrow during Pat's Nation. But how the roster is really flawed. And part of that reason why that roster is flawed is because of the general man, the job that Bill Belichick did when Belichick was here running the draft room. And I hate to bring Belichick up. I hate it because Chris loves it when the name gets brought up. Loves it. But I got to bring it up, not just because of why we're in the position we're in right now with the Patriots, because of the years of piss poor drafting that he led. Okay. That's a fact. But so this week, I don't know if he's being interviewed. He's on some podcast. I don't know what the hell he's on, right? And they're asking him about football. They're asking him about football. What are the differences between the NFL and college? And instead of getting into, the fact that, these kids, they're young kids, some of them, you're trying to prepare them to become professionals. You're trying to
have it. You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Read it. Read it.
It's much more cohesive and I'd say unified view of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. It's a lot of football. There's not much in your way. There's no owner's son. There's no cap. Everything that goes with the marketing and everything else, which I'm all for that, but it's way less of that at that level. Yeah. I mean, there's more, but that's I think the way you're going with it.
What? Listen, he cannot stop taking punches and jabs at Kraft and Kraft's son and this organization. Let me tell you something, Bill. Yeah, you won 6 Super Bowls. You brought Brady here, but let me tell you something, Bill. They brought you in here and nobody else wanted to give you a goddamn shot. You would have ended up in that clown organization, the New York Jets. And guess what, Bill? You would have been out of football in 3 years and never been a head coach again. You would have been back as an assistant coach because you would have failed with New York, because everybody fails in New York. Okay? You're lucky that the Crafts plucked you out of that miserable place in the Meadowlands that you were going to go coach the New York Jets. Okay? And that ridiculous owner. They brought you to a place that gave you the opportunity to win and allowed you to do the things that you needed to do to win. And now all of a sudden, because it didn't end after 20-something years, you're the one who screwed up. You're the one who said Brady was washed up. And yet the Kraft stuck it to you after you did that to them because they realized you made us look like fools. We're the owners. We listened to you. You're supposed to be a Hall of Fame coach, and you screwed up that badly by saying that a Hall of Famer was washed up and he went and won a Super Bowl somewhere else and stuck it. He rammed it. He rammed it to you, Bill. Rammed it to you. So you can complain about the owner. You can complain about the son. You can complain about whatever you want. But it ended the way it ended in New England because of you. And listen, the Crafts have a lot of blame to go around to. Chris and I have talked about this. Brady goes to the house to tell him what he's thinking about, that he's going to leave. Kraft at that point probably could have sat him down money-wise, contract-wise, and said, listen, screw Bill. Listen, you can't leave. He didn't do that. So, yeah, Kraft has a egg on his face too. But Bill, you started the process, pal. So maybe you should man up and say, I screwed up. He never once has he ever said, I screwed up. I let the greatest player in the history of football walk out the door. That's on me. I screwed up. Forget the owner and the owner's son, Bill. Come on. I'm sick of that garbage. Man up for a change. Man up.
Yeah, like on this, and I think I had it queued up for the Pats Nation, so I don't have it for the show, where he was getting interviewed by Jim Gray and talking about basically, the shared vision stuff.
Oh, please.
He's like, I had that till like the last 4 years, and then he talks about
yeah, it ended when he said to get rid of Brady. And,
right.
and Brady won a Super Bowl. I think the Crafts were like, okay, no more shared vision, Bill, because you forgot things. How did you let him leave?
Yeah, he said, I'd say when we had our best years in New England, we had fewer people and more of a direct vision. As that expanded, it became harder to be successful. This is what he's talking about. Listen, here's what I'll say on this.
Bill screwed up.
So, as far. Listen, I'm going to push back into.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody who the hell wanted Belichick at that point. I get it. But who the hell wanted the Patriots too at that point either? I mean, the friggin' this franchise was going into the toilet after Parcells left because Kraft couldn't make that work with that owner. So just as much as Kraft bailed out and helped Belichick came in and bailed this friggin' franchise out too because it was going in a tough direction at that point. So, I'll leave that there. But grow up, man. I mean, my whole thing is grow up at this point.
I agree with you, Chris, on that one.
Like friggin' nobody likes you. Nobody loves you more than me as a coach. Okay. I look at you as a coach and I look at you and there's nothing higher in my opinion. When I see what you do on the field and what you do for these players and how you're misunderstood in the sense of players you do actually listen to some of the players and you learned a lot from Randy Moss, admittedly so. People don't get that part of Belichick, but this crap, this pettiness, this stupidity. Yes, I know that they screwed you. I know Gerard Mayo stuck a knife in your back and met with them behind your back, and they were meeting with him secretly throughout the season. And I get all that. And then that Apple thing came out, and that really went up your ass. And I get all that, okay? But at this point, at this stage,
move on.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with him is it's compulsive with him. It's pathological. Nothing's his fault. Just once, I want to hear you stand up and say, I effed up from Cole Strange to N'Keal Harry to freaking, Duggar, all these guys that I put on this team that I swung and missed on. Isaiah Wynn that I swung and I missed badly. Drafts with Sony Michel. Look, and with Brady. Yeah, absolutely. He was wrong. He was dead wrong. I'll ultimately blame the friggin' owner for pulling that trigger. I will. But you were wrong. So say it. Either say I was wrong or shut the hell up. One or the other. You don't want to say I was wrong, then shut your damn mouth. Don't talk about, well, less is more. Oh, that's bullshit. There's no way less is more anymore in the NFL. That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Chris, we got a comment from one of our viewers who's watching us live.
Yeah.
And they said, well said, Mark. I'm going to repeat that. Well said, Mark. I might repeat that a third time, Joe.
It was apparent that when Brady's statue was unveiling, where was Bill? Yeah, I mean, well, Bill's never going to be there for that. But no, you're right. Listen, like I said, I mean, Mark, you're right. It's got to get to the point where they just shut their mouths now. And Kraft's the same way, too. The Krafts are the same way. Don't sit there. Don't sit there and act like the Krafts are sitting in their little bubble over there, acting like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. Look at the victims that we are over here.
No. The Krafts laid their bed, and now they're gonna lie. That Apple series was atrocious. The Dynasty, that was terrible what they did to Bill and that. So the Krafts. Listen, the Krafts are not innocent in all of this, Chris, by no means. You know what I mean?
So this little pissing back and forth at each other.
It's a pissing contest now, yeah.
That's just what everybody around the world wants to see is 80-year-olds pissing on each other. Like grumpy old men. It's like the movie. It's like put them in a freaking put them in a house together and let them live and put a camera in there, Joe. That's what needs to happen.
That's actually a good idea.
That's a good idea. I'm dying, Chris, I'm dying to see North Carolina's first game because I want to see defensively what he deploys.
Do you want to see him succeed or do you want to see him fall on his face?
No, I want to see him succeed. I do. I think it'll be, I want to see him succeed. I want to see, but I am going to say this, Chris, he's taking a chance with his legacy of people think he lost his fastball and all this stuff. If he fails down there, it's going to add to the narrative. Well, he lost it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I want to see him succeed mainly. Yeah. I want to see him succeed mainly for all the kids that put the faith, trust, and commitment into North Carolina football that are playing on that team. That's why.
And you, Chris, where you are, what you do and where you coach. A lot of kids are going to like those types of colleges. So
yeah, we got a kid that's going to be playing for him.
Yeah,
next year. So
I mean, his program of of making team first and do your job. And I want to see that actually, set in place with that young set of minds, and then producing what he teaches, and then showcasing the fact that, like, yes, he was a part of this dynasty for a reason, and it made that much of a difference whether he wins a title down there or not. Just the fact that they do well doing that,
Joe, that's a great point. That do your job and the mindset that he brings, Chris, may play much better with college kids.
The college
kids are gonna buy that. They're gonna buy into that, Chris.
Yeah, they do what they're told. I mean, that's what the kids do down there. I mean, that's it. Or in any program, they're just gonna do what you ask them to do. So I hope he has success. But yeah, you know what? Put your swords away. Now, enough. Cut the crap. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. People are tired of hearing it. You're not the main player anymore in anything. Neither one of you. Kraft, you can't get into the goddamn Hall of Fame, and it's scrubbing you. It's crossing your ass and chapping you. We know it. Belichick, you're not relevant anymore. So shut your goddamn mouths, do your jobs, and let's all move on. What do you think, Mark?
Yes, I like it. I like that.
All right.
That's a good way to end Catone's comments, Chris.
Catone's comments is presented by the Pats Nation Sundays. 8 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, we're going to have our roster breakdown. We're going to break down the rooms, all the rosters, see who we think should make the team. So make sure you're sticking around. What?
Joe, how many weeks into the college football season before he shows up on the show with a North Carolina t-shirt or sweatshirt? North Carolina football.
Let's
Joe.
put that out to the audience and the fans. They should put that vote out there. Let's see what happens.
When we come back, we're going to talk Patriots and Patriots alone. Weekly Rewind is next. No flipping.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field. Give away all my secrets. Come on now. Who knows what I'm going to have? Tar Heels, nice color blue,
Yeah.
So, want to talk about the Patriots, guys?
Listen, it's fun. We have to. We start in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, let's do it in Weekly Rewind, Joe. Going back through the week. About a Weekly Rewind. Okay, Mark. So they wrapped up the preseason. Okay. And I want to first talk about Drake May. Yeah, obviously we always talk about starts and stops with him. And how do you feel about him as as camp ends? Because I'm not feeling that great.
Well, allegedly, Chris, at the beginning, he had a good camp. But as camp went on, he made a few mistakes, made some, we saw his, some lack of judgment. We saw that show up, rear its ugly head in the preseason game against Minnesota, right? We saw that. Was it Minnesota where he fumbled the ball?
No, that was Washington, but then he threw the ball high.
And then Minnesota, he's throwing the ball high, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
and taking a sack that he shouldn't have. He didn't read the safety where he looked him off. But go ahead.
So I think he ended camp, Chris, leveling off where he wasn't as impressive as he was earlier in the camp. But is that on Drake May, Chris, or is it again a byproduct of the fact that our offensive line is it any better than last year?
No, I mean,
I don't know. Like, is that a byproduct though of the line? The fact that you're rushing to make decisions because you're not being protected.
I can't put what I saw in some of these games on the offensive line. Now that Washington, obviously, that play was a breakdown with Campbell and Wilson. We on that twist, fine. But what I saw in the Minnesota game, Pop Douglas is wide open. He's throwing the ball high. I see a situation where he's got 2 touchdown options going down the field, and he can't look his safety off, sit in the pocket. He's created his own pressure. This is the play where he bounced to the outside and then threw to the sidelines to Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
And everybody thought
because he can't sit and do it because you don't have time.
That wasn't on the line.
Okay.
All he had to do was look the safety off and throw one or the other. It was that simple. And he just created his own pressure and moved out of the pocket and then threw to Mac Hollins on the sideline, a much more difficult throw. Well, that's the kind of stuff that bothers me. And then the other stuff, rolling out, taking a hit when you shouldn't. I mean, this is what Vrabel had to say about May.
Well, I mean, I think that we have to be able to connect on passes like the one to Pop. Was making sure that both the receiver and the quarterback are on the same page, and that
that's
the
the one he threw high
is where it needs to be. I would say the tip balls, especially ones that are over the middle of the field or towards the middle of the field, are going to end up intercepted. And he's continuing to improve and continue to help us, and I like where he's at. It's just, we just got to fix that, and we talked to him about not taking a senseless hit outside the pocket on 2nd and 10, and if there's nobody there, throw it away, and we'll try to convert on 3rd down.
Yeah, so that was Mike Vrabel talking about Drake May, and some of the things we're talking about. So he sees it too. I mean, I'm a little nervous because. Now, I think that McDaniels and I think they'll do things to protect him, but I don't like how he's reading the field. I don't like the decisions that I'm seeing. Now, he talks about getting amped up, and the other thing I don't like is the response about that, saying, well, he's like, hey, that's the way I play. I mean, that's never going to change. Well, you better figure out a way to calm yourself down, because if you're going to keep throwing the ball high like that at the beginning of games, you're going to start the game 7-0, 10-0 off turnovers. And we're never going to win a game. So I don't think it's a fatal flaw. But they better get it corrected quickly, Mark. This is going to be what we think of this team, what others out there think of this team, and what they're going to be and what they can be is very different than what they really are. And I think the coaches understand what they really have right now.
Yeah.
This is not Josh Allen year 3, like everybody thinks and wants him to be.
No, but it's only year 2. It's not year 3. Right. He's learning a new offense. Josh Allen had the same offense for 3 years.
Right.
This
is his fourth coordinator.
Yes,
essentially year 1 for him.
A much different offense he's learning this year. An offense that requires you, Chris, to do a lot more thinking, reading, and being on the same page as your receiver, because the receiver also has to do some reading, understanding, option routes. I don't necessarily know if Buffalo's offense, Chris, was that complex.
Right.
For Allen to learn and for the receivers to understand what they're supposed to do.
Well, it was Dayball's offense. It's an offshoot.
It's an offshoot, but it was if you watched it, Chris, it was simpler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, irregardless of that, you're right, Chris. This is what this is the offense that you're running, and you're gonna have to make better decisions. And you're right, you can't be amped up because you're gonna start out 7-0, 10-0, and
yeah.
Listen, this roster, Chris, people, we're gonna win 10 games. We can win 10 games. You're gonna win 10 games with what? What do you
I don't see it. I don't understand it.
Listen, what do you win 10 games with? I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, I think you got a good running game. And I think you're gonna see that running game come into play more, because now I think they're seeing, okay, what is Stephon Diggs gonna give us? I don't know. Okay, Boutte, Douglas, all right, they're all right. Okay. The rookie Williams,
it's not like you have a Bauer. You got Hunter Henry.
No
impact player except for a running back on this team. And Mark, the problem is, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I look at and I say, okay, the best player on this offense is Travion Henderson.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel pretty good about being able to take that away. You know why? Because I know I don't have a number 1 on the outside that I got to really deal with. So I can commit to different things to get rid of that stuff, to keep that stuff in front of me.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. That's why I do believe that at some point, Pop Douglas is going to get banged up, because he always does, because he's so small. and this kid Chisholm is going to get significant playing time, he's not going to come off the field, Chris, because he's going to be one of the few guys you have on this offense that will actually be able to move the chains and make plays and get positive yardage, because that's just how he's being used. And it's going to be just like Edelman was, just like Welker was. That's what he's going to become. Is he as good as those guys? I don't know. But Douglas will inevitably, Chris, be off this field because he's going to get hurt. He does every year. It's every single, he's too small. And Chisholm, Chris, I think, believe it or not, will probably become one of your more productive players, because that's a indictment of your wide receiver room when an undrafted receiver possibly could end up being one of your more productive players. This team is flawed, Chris. And you're right. You said the coaches know it. Why do you say that? And the coaches know it.
Well, because they know. I mean, because they're not stupid. You see what you have in the room. I mean, I tell you, you talk about Edelman. This is what a couple of former players think, Will Falk and Edelman.
I don't think so. I feel just like them. I mean, I think with, Vrabel coming back and with his roots, you have to understand what he brings to the table. He's done it before in Tennessee when he left Houston and became the head coach of Tennessee. All he had was Henry, and he ran the ball, and they got to the AFC Championship. I'm not saying we're going to go win the Super Bowl first year, but I definitely do think we will have 7, 8 win, 9, 10 win. I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Because this is the National Football League. There's always a team that doesn't make the playoff that has 3-4 wins that goes on and wins the playoff game. Look at the Redskins last year. They had 3 wins the year before, 4 wins the year before they went to the NFC Championship. Why can't it be us? We spent a lot of money in the offseason on the defense. We drafted a lot of offensive guys to build this team. Trayvon Henderson looks like to be a slam dunk. And we have Josh McDaniels going in and helping develop Drake May.
So that was Vince Wilfork, Julian Edelman drinking the Kool-Aid. Listen, Mark, okay. Let's just we'll keep it on the offensive side of the ball, and we after break when we come back we'll talk defense and then roster. But talking about the O-line now, listen to these two guys. I mean, look, they're looking at it from miles and miles away. Sure. Okay. I mean, they got their own gigs going on. They're not looking deep into what the Patriots are and what's going on in their rooms.
Not.
So when I look at this offensive line, okay, coming into last year and exiting last year, it was a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
It is still a huge problem. Mm-hmm. Has it improved? People say, oh, yeah, they've gotten better. Well, have they? Because I don't know that yet. I don't know what's going to happen when you put these two rookies on the left side of that. Like, okay, wherever you're going to play Wilson's he's probably one of the biggest surprises to me of camp not to me. I knew what this kid was when we drafted him as far as an impact player. But God, you're going to put a rookie left tackle and you're going to put a rookie left guard or a rookie center. One of those combination there is what Wilson's going to play. Mm-hmm. I just can it get schemed enough around this offensive line for you to say feel comfortable with them?
I think McDaniels can scheme it, Chris, to get them comfortable. I think because a lot of plays are going to be quick decision plays where they're not going to have to hold. He's not going to be able to he's not going to have to sit back there, 4, 5, 6. Like it's going to be quick.
I don't think they're going to let him do that. Yeah.
It's going to be quick. Couple of step drop, look, make a decision, bang. Pick up.
Always have a check down somewhere.
Yes. And he's going to use a lot of check downs, Chris, just because that's how McDaniels is going to compensate for the lack of this pass protection from the O-line. I will say this, though, Chris. Wilfork brought up Derrick Henry. I do think McDaniels realizes the strength of this offensive line is run blocking. They are pretty good with run. That left side, Chris. Campbell and Wilson are good run blockers, right? And Bradbury's not bad. So I do think the one thing Wilfork said, probably that is true, is you may see this team run the ball more than a McDaniels offense typically runs the ball, Chris.
No, I think so.
Just because McDaniels is going to have to play to the strength of the team. And I think the running back room, you said this last week, is the strength of the team. And you said it again earlier. You talked about Henderson. Teams they'll be able to prepare for him. But running the ball, they should be able to run the ball.
Here's my problem with that, okay? This is the NFL 2025. So for those of you out there that say, well, look at Philly. Well, look at Philly. They ran their way to the Super Bowl. Nonsense. Bullshit. Here's what Philly did. Philly put 2 borderline Pro Bowlers, 1 Pro Bowler and 1 borderline Pro Bowler at wide receiver out there, okay? That's what they did. And they had a quarterback that uses his feet, too. All of a sudden,
and they
look
had
at the run game.
And their tight end rotation is pretty good.
Right.
Better than ours, I believe.
Look at the run game at that point. Of course. I mean, they had a fantastic offensive line. I get it. But when they needed to, how did they win that Super Bowl? They do it running the ball?
They threw the ball.
Right. So
because Kansas City took Barkley, the running game out, they were determined to stop Barkley. They did, but they couldn't stop the wideouts, Chris.
So for those who think we're going to get to 10-11 wins on the back of Travion Henderson, pop open some spirits every Sunday, because you're going to be disappointed when you see what's happening. Because if you don't prepare for something on the outside, if you don't have to, and coming up, we're going to go to break, come back and talk about wide receivers and then defense. But if you don't have to prepare for something on the outside, stopping a running back is a hell of a lot easier, Mark. A hell of a lot easier. So this portion of Weekly Rewind was presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow we're going to have a full roster breakdown. We're going to have a lot more detail, a lot more clips. So make sure you're sticking around with that. But when we come back, we're going to talk wide receivers, defense, a little bit of roster. Stick around.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
There's a report today that Jalen Pope will have to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Can you add anything to that?
No.
I know you said it.
I don't know, other than I'd like to find out where some of these come from. Some of these rats around here, so we'll figure that out.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field. Mark, what do you make of real quick? Till we're talking about wide receivers.
Rats.
What do you think of that? What'd you think of that right there?
So do you think that
it hasn't been getting a lot of play, that whole...
Do you think that came from... Do you think he's referring to Polk's agent?
Well, somebody in the building, somebody who talked to... Yeah, I mean, it had to be a player or an agent that let that out.
Yeah, and because the Patriots haven't officially done anything with Polk yet. It's not like the next day it came out he's on IR, so nothing has come out yet about Polk.
Well, because Pittsburgh was interested in him, I mean, they would have had to disclose it anyway. But the point is,
they would have had to disclose the injury, absolutely.
I think he's just trying to say, hey, look, last year was a freaking joke in this place.
It was.
He wanted to get so far away from what Belichick did that it became a joke. And, he doesn't, whatever's being talked about, whatever's leaving that room, I don't want it. That's it. Nothing. Listen, for people out there, this guy's a lot more like Bill than everybody thinks. And
because he's an old school guy. He's an old school coach.
And the media you don't hear any of this from the media because they don't want to believe that. They don't even want to think. They wear blinders on that. You listen to Mike Vrabel talk about rats and that kind of stuff. Yeah, where have we heard things like that before? In fact, Vrabel's even more pushy and more direct than Belichick even was in press conferences. He'll let you have it. He doesn't care.
No.
He went up to somebody in a parking lot that was parked in a handicap spot and told me I need to move their car. That's Vrabel.
Yeah, that's him. That is him.
And that's fine. I love that. Put them in their freaking place. Because I love that part of Belichick. That's why. So if that's what he brings to the table, then fine. All right, Mark, let's talk about the wideouts and then let's get to defense. So who makes I mean, is Diggs going to play week 1? I mean, let's.
No, I'm going to say no. What do you say? I'm going to say no.
I don't think he is. I mean, you've heard nothing. You've heard no buzz. You've heard no.
Listen. I don't think he's going to be on the PUP list. I think he's going to be an inactive.
That would be a story then.
Not and I don't think. There's my prediction, Chris. Not inactive because he's inactive because he's not ready to go. He's we need another week or two. He's gonna be now because if you put him on a PUP list, don't forget it's 4 weeks. Right. I don't think they're gonna sit him for 4, so he'll be a hell.
He's not quite ready, but we want to. Yeah,
he's inactive today. He's not quite ready. He's almost there, almost game ready. He's gonna be an inactive. He won't be on a PUP. He'll be an inactive.
So this receiving core to me will be
That's my prediction.
Diggs, Douglas, Booty, Williams, Hollins, and Chisholm. Yeah?
Yes.
Which is what we thought. We've been saying that for 2 months.
That was our prediction.
So we'll see what happens on Tuesday when they got cut downs if Chisholm is on that list. But all those other guys.
Now Polk will be IR.
Right.
We're assuming because he hasn't seen the field since that game on that Friday night game under the lights where they had an inter-squad scrimmage. We haven't seen Bourne. Somebody rolled up on his leg. I'm assuming he starts on the PUP, right?
I would imagine. And then you got
does
Baker.
Baker, does he make the team for special teams or he's released?
He may be somebody that they can then bring back to practice squad.
I don't think he's done enough, Chris, for anybody to even pick him up. I think you could practice squad him.
Yeah, and there's only a few guys because Webb is a guy that'll push him there too. I mean, how many guys you going to put on the practice squad? How many receivers are you going to put on the practice squad?
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Think Webb is definitely somebody who will be a practice squad guy. You're right, Chris.
So is Baker, Webb, and then the other guy there? I forget his name. Who knows?
I don't know.
But so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, going into the season with this wide receiver group, it's
Chris. What about the rookies?
It's no better. It's no better. If you want to argue Hollins is better, the additions of Hollins and Diggs. I'm not sold on anything to do with Diggs until I see him on the field and him getting open. That's
what I was just going to say, Chris. How can anybody be confident that it's an upgrade because we haven't seen Diggs in a field yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what Diggs is going to give me. I have no idea.
I don't know. But so no, I am not confident in this receiving core, not for 1 ounce yet.
Well, Chris, is this kid Williams a disappointment, this draft pick already? Is
he's getting open, and he is getting open. But once again, I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. But if you watch his film, if you watch the reps and how he's getting open, it's all by his footwork. It's all by position placement, and it's all usually against 2s and 3s. Everybody talked about that throw in the preseason game, and I think it was against Washington, where Dobbs threw it outside and high, where he got open on a quick slant off the line on the goal line.
But I think they were playing like 3s and 4s against him.
That corner played so poorly on that play. The corner stood up, jabbed inside. It was just so poorly played by the corner. I give no credit to Williams on that play.
Chris, I personally would like to go back to that tape because I want to know who the corner was for Washington, and I'm interested to see if that corner even makes the roster for Washington.
Doubtful. I doubt it.
Right?
I would doubt
it. So to your point, Chris, that's who he's getting open against with his footwork.
Right.
Guys,
so Mark, looking at the defense, okay? And we don't have time to go through it all, but it's just a couple of things I want to point to. The first and the most obvious thing is Kyle Duggar. This is what he has to say.
Do you feel good about where you are right now, physically, mentally?
I got a lot of work to do. A lot of room for improvement. And so that's
a lot of work to do.
Do you feel good with what you put on tape so far this summer?
Nah, I have a lot more to improve on, so I'm gonna keep working to do that.
I know this is a big week for a lot of guys. Is there any sort of anxiety on your part about your future?
Nah. Things are gonna go how they're gonna go. I'm trusting God in it, and I'm gonna keep, taking opportunities I have to continue to get better. Like I said, get back to playing fast.
Has there been a dialogue back and forth with you and the coaches about why you've been playing so deep into preseason games?
Nah.
You said there was some stuff that you'd still like to work on or improve on. Anything in particular that you think you could still work on?
Oh, for sure. I mean, learning a new playbook and getting used to these calls, being able to play fast, confident knowing what to expect, like things like that. You know, take a little bit of time and they take reps, and so continue to work and watch the film and learn and grow. You know, block.
These are the things that take time, man. Come on, you're a veteran. This stuff should be automatic.
But it's refreshing, though, to hear somebody admit that they need to work on themselves. No?
Yeah, great. Go work on it at freaking. Go work on it somewhere else. Go work on it in the freaking Canadian Football League. You know what I mean?
Joe, you know what's disheartening with that? Do you know how much money he's making? They gave him a contract extension. He's making like $11 million. 14, which is a ton. That's a ton of money for a safety.
It is. It's
they
ridiculous.
overpaid for him to begin with, and the fact that he's underachieving this much, I don't know how you keep it. I think they're trying to trade him, Chris, actively.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to trade him.
I don't know if anybody will trade for him, but
The only way to trade is to eat some of the money.
you're gonna have to. Yeah.
You know, but otherwise, I think he's going to make the team because they got to pay. And I think it's going to end up being Peppers, Woodson, Hawkins, Schooler, and Duggar. You know, and I think Epps will be on the outside looking in, and some of those other guys. So, which I don't. Duggar and Peppers are the same guy. So there's one thing, and then the other thing is, I'm disappointed with White. Jason is playing much better than him right now. Okay, the fact that you had to play White in that last preseason game against New York. Okay, Keon White. You know, this guy about taking the coaching. He's acting, you know, Mr. Tough Guy over there with the media. He doesn't have. I don't. You said what are his getting to the quarter? What are his moves? What are his pass rush? Well, he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any. It's pissing me off because he's built like Superman physically. So get your tough guy head out of your ass, okay, and get the friggin' work. Because I don't know if he's taking the coaching well. Why else would he be in that Giants game?
Are they shopping him around too?
Maybe.
Listen, you said it at the beginning, Chris, of this whole training camp. You said, Mark, listen, I don't think Vrabel likes any of the guys that are coming back because he thinks they're all garbage.
He doesn't like this roster.
And he doesn't like the roster. And I think Keon White and Duggar, I think those guys are included in that he don't like the roster. Like you said, he's built like Superman, Chris, but he's a one-trick pony, and he doesn't have any other move to get to the quarterback. I mean, he's struggling. You can't just count on, you know, you're gonna run by somebody with pure athleticism. That doesn't work. You know, so yeah, I didn't like the Keon White draft pick, Chris, when we drafted him. I said they're drafting him way too high. I know you liked it at the time. I didn't like it. I thought we should have taken a receiver there, right? And we didn't.
Well, it's turning out that way because the guy's not playing to what his physical capabilities are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. So, you know, and the other guy, Chris, I think, who's on the outside looking in, who was a starter last year, is Anthony Jennings. Jennings, I think they're shopping him around, right? Because he got significant. He started last year when Tabai got hurt, and for the most part, the second half of the season, Chris did not play bad.
Yeah, I think he'll make the team if he holds. Who?
Tabai.
Oh yeah, you know what? If Tabai makes the team, I think I need to stop watching. I think he'll make the team, but I think he'll. I think he'll make the team, but I think he's going to start on PUP. He's going to make. I don't. Making the team and seeing the field is a whole different animal.
Okay.
You know, he's out. Vrabel's going to want to throw up in his mouth when he puts Tabai out there and watches him when he tries to fill a gap and run fit up. You know, and he's choosing because physically he can't handle this type of defense that they play. You know, he's going to want to throw up in his mouth when that happens.
A true Patriot fantastic.
Yes! Real quick, because I know we're up against it. They played Mapu against the Giants, and Mapu, I think, actually looked pretty good at linebacker. So I'm interested to see. I think he's going to make the team. I'm interested to follow Mapu and see what happens with him.
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk about roster stuff. We're going to do it on the Pats Nation tomorrow, so make sure we get some Elliott Wolf clips, Cowden clips. So make sure you stick around to that. But Corso and Catone was presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, come back tomorrow. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear from Elliott Wolf, Cowden, about roster stuff, and we're going to break down all the rooms, and talk much more detail on that. So stick around and come back next week at noon Eastern. We're going to talk more Patriots, including our season picks, our wins and losses for the season, Yankees, Red Sox, Catone's comments, anything you bring to the table, we will be ready. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Now find Corso and Catone on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast. Or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.